And welcome back to our little Aeon Drive tournament here. Our final match of the day coming up now between Murtork and Summitstorm. I am Electric, joined in the booth yet again by Markinator99. How are you feeling before this next matchup, Mark?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to watch this match, actually. I know both of these runners are really good at this game, and this is going to be the last match of today, so it's going to be, hopefully we can make it a good one.
Hopefully, indeed. We'll see what stage these players are going to end up duking it out on, and we have had a couple of cancellations, unfortunately, throughout the day, so despite our original schedule, this will be our last matchup of today. But to kind of discuss the format a little bit, like our previous matches, this is a live time attack format match where these players will have 30 minutes on this level that they haven't played before. They'll have that time period to set the best PB that they can. Whichever player has the best PB by the end of this time period wins this matchup. It's just one round, 1v1. So yeah, pretty much just best time wins. And it's not just about what player is able to figure out the best route, but also what player is able to execute on their own best route. So it'll be really exciting to see how these players just decide to approach this stage.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, we saw that exact thing in the last match, where at the end both runners were like doing the exact same thing, but you know, one ended up coming out, was able to execute it a bit better. So really fun stuff to watch them just work it out and then grind it out, just all in one short time period.
Absolutely. It's interesting how there's different phases to it almost. Like the first 5 minutes or so, the players are really just getting a feel for the level. And then you start seeing some like experiments with different routes over the next 10 minutes or so. And then they kind of tend to settle on a particular route, and then you just see like a bunch of random optimizations come in. And like I was saying last round, you start to see the dagger come out more and more as time goes on. That's probably the coolest thing to me, is just seeing all the little bits of movement that get replaced with random dagger teleports as time goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to save those like small little fractions of a second, and then once it all comes together, you're like, wow, that was way faster.
Right.
Yeah, great stuff, great stuff. I think the runners are getting their word on what they will be running for. They don't know these levels prior to running it. So I mean, when we say they're figuring out as they go, I mean they're going in blind to these levels. So 2-7, it looks like both runners are hovering. We have that on screen, just waiting for the go ahead, and I think we just got it. All right, perfect.
All right, and so as I was kind of saying earlier, right now we're kind of in this exploratory phase. So the runners are just kind of messing around with the level, seeing what cycles these fire bars are on, just seeing the lay of the land. Most levels, including this one, are going to have multiple paths that kind of branch out from each other. So runners are going to be exploring, it looks like this kind of more mid and bottom route first. But there is that top route for them to explore too, and just kind of, see what options they might want to start exploring.
Yeah,
we
precisely.
do have that nice hole in the wall that kind of avoids this bottom section here.
Oh, Murtork finding a diamond. Yeah, they also have like a casual elements to this game as well. Like Murtork just found a diamond and stuff. So if you want to pick it up, you don't have to be as good as these players to enjoy it. There's exploration. There's going to be multiplayer. There's going to be single player. It's going to be great. September 30th is the day that it comes out on every platform. Exclamation point Aeon or Aeon, AEON in the chat, and put it on your wish list. But yeah, Murtork coming up, and he's been having a little trouble with his enemy. It seems to be on a bad cycle. It's just right there. Oh, there you go. Okay, figure out you just throw it straight through.
Yeah, Murtork's starting to kind of get an initial feel for this level. I'm wondering if the kind of chasms towards the very end of this stage are going to come into play on any of these attempts, because I saw like some of the first attempts, we saw players having to take a wall jump like right on the ending. Murtork's still just experimenting a little bit with trying to take this bottom path, maybe, it looks like.
Yo, Summitstorm making some plays here. Nice time. It's going to be, what, 11 something? Let's see what it is. 1176. Yeah, the last one ended at 9 seconds, a little under 9 seconds. So yeah, very nice time. Or low 9 seconds, I mean, not under.
And a big element that we saw in that last race is not just finding the best route, but finding it early. And if Summitstorm is able to kind of experiment with a lot of optimizations and settle on a good route earlier than Murtork, that might be the only difference that really gives them an edge.
Yeah, precisely. Finding out the optimizations first. And I think you see it right here. Like, look, Summitstorm right there threw the teleport dagger and then threw it again as he was falling. As where Murtork is kind of like running to the spot in which he can just directly throw it. I don't know which one's faster. I don't think I can really tell.
I feel like we're going to end up seeing a dagger throw on the very, very ending before this is all over with. Like where Murtork just kind of fell down and had to take a couple wall jumps back up. We're going to start seeing dagger throws there sooner rather than later, I feel like.
Yeah, probably. Ooh, Summitstorm just found a pretty fast route, it looks like. He could probably just throw the teleport dagger on the roof at this section right here, over and over. Yeah, there he goes. Yeah, and make it straight through.
And the dagger tech is certainly kind of interesting because you trigger the dagger throw and the dagger teleport with the same button. So like you're having to kind of double tap the button fairly quickly, but of course you have to wait for the dagger to have gotten thrown to the platform. So if you just like mash the button twice, you're probably gonna hit the teleport too early, and it's not actually going to register. So like there's a bit of finesse in how exactly you use the dagger to teleport.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tons of different timings in this game. There's like minor animations just like in every game, but they do run together really well, but you still have to account for them. Just like, yeah, throwing the dagger, the time it takes the dagger to hit the wall, as well as like to be optimal, the different wall spacings will have different timings. So
yep.
It's a lot.
Yep. A lot to keep in mind.
Yeah, Murtork still... I haven't seen him really commit to anything yet. Still looking like he's pretty hardcore researching the level. And Summitstorm doing the same thing, but he seems to be kind of narrowing in on a path he might want to take here. But, I mean, Murtork does have the better time. He's got the 993. Oh, there we go. Summitstorm just got his 962.
Ooh, nice.
All right, yes. I like this route that Summitstorm's going through. He's like going down and dashing, and it looks like this bottom area has like a lot of open space you can just go like directly through.
Yeah, it looks like that area around the gem can be a little bit troublesome, but like you said, a lot of really open space. Nice use of the teleport right in the beginning to avoid that enemy pretty handily.
Oh, missed the
you can see
final
Summitstorm
throw.
Experimenting with a dagger on the ending.
Yeah. I mean, throwing the dagger down is faster than falling. Even though you can fast fall. We saw one level, I think yesterday or day before. Or day before, because we didn't do anything yesterday. But there was one level where the runners were like fast falling towards the beginning and getting like really good times. And then by the end of it, they were like throwing the dagger down to get like that extra 0.1 seconds. Because it was just that faster. It was just a little faster.
Yeah. I think Summitstorm's definitely got kind of the better route on this one, because looking at the route that Murtork's kind of been tending towards, it seems like there's a lot more complexity to it, and it doesn't seem like it would even be that much faster.
Yeah, a lot of corridors for Murtork.
Almost had it.
Oh, Summitstorm getting real quick with it. Okay, see, this is what you see when like the runners start to really like.
Ooh, that was
what they
really
want to do.
Good time.
Yeah, and
916, nice.
And he made some mistakes there too. So he's, I mean, I think we're gonna see like a 7-second potential time from Summitstorm here.
I could certainly see it. He could dip his time pretty low. But God, look at all those teleports just to save like maybe 0.05 or something.
Yeah. But I mean, you can tell that it is slightly faster. He just like he warps to that spot.
Taking the fall, yeah. You're moving down and right just a bit faster.
Yeah. It looks like if he can just be slightly faster, he can dash underneath that saw, and like if he can do that, the time's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
I was so close on that one.
Oh, for sure. That's kind of an interesting concept too when you're messing around with levels like this. You're never going to get your fastest attempt the first time. So like something that looks like it almost could work the very first time that you try it very well could work. You just might need to be a bit more optimal on it. And you see, he is finally able to get past the saw blade there. Off his first couple attempts, you may have thought it just wasn't even possible to get past the saw blade, but once he's gotten faster and more hyper-optimized with it, you see, oh yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
That is a sick route. Right. Oh, the time got ruined by the ending, but that's still such a sick time.
He's got 22 minutes to really figure it out, but he's figured something out here. But you see the optimization right here on these down right throws, like he dashes, boom, right there.
Jeez, and through the enemy. This is really a path of least resistance here, because he's got like nothing to deal with once he gets past that initial section.
Yeah, very open. It's versus Murtork right now is kind of dealing with some.
Oh, and gets blocked by the ledge again.
Insane.
I think he's just needing to wait like a tiny bit longer on that last dagger throw, because it's just barely ending up on the wrong side of that corner.
Yeah, absolutely. But it looks like he's got stuck. It seems like
so close. So fast though, jeez. And you can see he's even hitting this. Here we go. That is a killer 6-second time. It's a 6:62, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez. All right, Murtork's gonna see that, and he's gonna have to change it up. Because I don't see him getting that time with this route, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's no way. You have to be using Summit's route to get that time, I think. Because if you think about it, this route doesn't really move laterally a whole lot. Like, it doesn't move up or down. So I'm not sure how Summit's route would be losing time to another route that would be more direct, right? And there's no, like, switchbacking at all with Summit's route. I mean... Yeah, and the other beauty of Summit's route is that, like, the ending is fairly simplified, so that there isn't a lot to optimize there.
Exactly, yeah, Murtork is definitely much more complex and precise, having to maneuver through all this stuff.
So, I mean, yeah, I think Summit's just kind of messing around, experimenting with different ways to just improve on that one God run already.
Yeah, and that's what we were kind of talking about earlier, or what you said earlier was, once these runners figure out what it is, the one who figures it out first is going to have more time to play and optimize it.
Right.
So that beginning.
Now Murtork has to go through that same whole process of figuring out the bottom route.
Precisely. Yeah, and so the whole beginning section of, like, finding out what is the best route, is really important. You don't want to just get a bunch of runs in these 30-minute sections, especially. The 10-minute ones, like, maybe you don't quite have the time, but for these 30-minute ones, like, I think prioritizing just exploration is very important. We're finding out.
Absolutely, I can definitely agree with that.
Okay.
Looks like Summitstorm is mainly messing around right now with just putting an extra teleport in this beginning section before the saws. Or maybe they're almost trying to come up with like a alternate way of getting around the saw blade, it almost looks like.
Potentially. Yeah, he probably knows, like, if he's losing time somewhere, it's the saw blades. So just spending some time there.
Yeah.
But Murtork, he's figuring it out. He's now dashing under the that ledge there through that little gap, which is what Summitstorm is starting out with as well. Okay, well, never mind. He did it a couple times. I think he's trying to mix it up. But that's good. That's good. He's on the right track. There he goes. Yeah, he's going up. That's what I initially thought. I'm not sure it's any faster.
It's just so hard to beat the second half of Summit's route because it's so direct, and it's all he's really having to do as far as like avoidance goes is just a couple of like angled throws like that.
I hate dying.
And yeah, here we go, another nice 6-second time.
Crazy. Yeah, if he's gonna be able to like post up consistent 6-second times, Murtork just might be behind the curve because the optimization that's gonna be there is big. It's going to be a big gap between the two.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you able to optimize here besides, there's not a whole lot that Summit's leaving on the table on this ending. Well, okay, Murtork going on that, like, kind of slightly higher route, maybe it could be faster, but that would also just It would only be faster because you're not having to zigzag with your teleport, and it would be incredibly precise to make it faster, I would think.
Right.
Oh, here we go.
I think it's good that he is going up versus down, because if this does save time, he's going to maintain like the full advantage of it.
Yeah. I think Summit's sheer teleport dominance, though, is going to kind of do him in. Because he's really figured out how to maximize the number of teleports through this route.
I can see him right here, just kind of playing with it. The ending moving bars seem to be a bit of an issue as well for him, but especially if you're trying to do something a little faster, they're going to be at a different position. So I think he's trying to figure out how all that works out.
Yeah, you got to spend a lot of time practicing your timing for the jumps on those moving bars.
Yeah, he got real close right there, just barely nicked the bar and took a death.
Falling right into that side, the saw blade on that attempt.
Yeah.
Murtork's still messing around with the top round on the ending here.
I do like Murtork's idea. He's going through. He's trying to do like 2 throws to save a little time over doing 3, I guess. Because it seems like he's delaying a little bit. Okay, there you go. He went with 3 there. But he's trying to land like right on that little post, and then he can just throw the dagger straight across and kind of avoid the whole saw section that Summit is figuring out.
Now, I'm kind of curious what Summit's approach is with this saw section, because he already kind of figured out, you know, good optimal movement that he used in that 662 for a good cycle here. I wonder if he's just messing around, it looks like, because those clips aren't even allowed, so...
This is a well-known cheating. Okay, ignore this time from Summit. It's not real. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we don't even think they're faster anyway, so I don't think there's any real reason for the runners to use them, thankfully.
Yeah.
No glitchless section yet. Alright, so okay, Murtork now looks like he wants to mess around with the saw section. He's still got half the time left on the board, so it's not lost, it's not unreasonable.
And it looks like he's kind of messing around with, like, what if he's starting to kind of figure it out. Like, what if I do try to dagger across here? This could be pretty fast.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the great thing with these time trial attacks is, like, you know, we were talking about how great Summitstorm is and he had the advantage, but if he's kind of maxed out the optimizations and we're only halfway in, if Murtork picks it up and he is able to get that extra 0.01, I mean, that's the game.
Yeah, and that 662 is like the first attempt where everything kind of went well. So there's a bit of room still to optimize underneath that. You know, yeah, it may only be like a few hundredths of a second, but there still is some room, most likely.
Ooh, Murtork might have figured something out. That was a really good throw. Looked quick. See if he does it again. Nah. He landed his throw like right at that dark block where he was, and it was really nice. It was really quick. There it is. Yeah, throwing the dagger like right on the edge, he can then reach that dark block up there. So it looked like
just messing around with routing.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that the bottom section is entirely optimized. Or optimal words.
I could kind of see it, not gonna lie. Especially with that dark block throw that you mentioned. I think it could certainly be possible that like a really nice fast path through that midsection could save you some ample time.
Yeah.
I don't know, the teleport route is just so strong though. Summitstorm almost finishing off a nice attempt.
The movement Summitstorm is doing, after he dashes, that's when he can jump and throw up and make it through that section. But but then he just did that, and I don't think it's faster anymore.
Right.
What is happening? So is that 5.2? Is that what that said? 6.5?
No, it was a 6.74.
Oh, okay.
Barely slower than his current PB.
Maybe I just saw his current time. Yeah, this is nuts.
It looks like he's still messing around with like, or it might just be a mistake getting that exact to the side throw. Not sure if it's fully intentional from Summit there.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see it's just non-stop throws, and if he's not throwing, he's dashing to get a better angle so he can throw.
Yep.
Really nice stuff.
Oh, and Murtork just coming up a little bit short on these throws in the midsection there. And like we were kind of saying earlier, the range on that dagger is a bit limited, so you gotta kind of keep that in mind when you're trying to make some hard throws.
Oh wow! So this top route, he might not be able to even go fast enough because of that cycle.
Oh
yeah, he had to wait. He couldn't go sooner than he just did.
Yeah, and if there's any waiting in your route, I doubt it's going to be faster than that bottom route, because there's zero waiting involved there at all.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. It was so promising. Murtork really did kind of figure it out. But fortunately for us, that we live outside the veil in which they live, so we can see that Murtork is wrong. No, but Murtork is gonna have to figure out that that's not gonna be the fastest way, or Summitstorm might just already have it.
If that would mess with me in competitions like this, though, knowing that the audience is able to see everything going on, and like my opponent probably has a better route than me, and I have no idea, you know, I would definitely psych myself out thinking of stuff like that.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. Yeah,
I halfway wonder if the
wasn't bad.
Yeah, because that attempt from Summit was pretty clean. I halfway wonder if 6.62 is like kind of one of the more maxed out times for this route. Because it seems like the attempts that he's getting worse times, he had like sort of safer-ish movement on the ending.
Right. Yeah, it seems to be really optimal. Yeah, the middle section is not going to do it for Murtork. It's just not.
It's weird how, like, when you look at this map, the route that Summit's using for the bottom section doesn't immediately come to mind, but, like, it's you know, when you look at the level for long enough, it's a very sensible route.
Yeah.
You take those two nice diagonal jumps, you get to completely avoid any contact with the fire bars. I've seen a lot of attempts that he takes them that, like, he lands on the post between the fire bars entirely, and it just eliminates the obstacle.
Yeah, I mean, just the route that you're able to move constantly at seems to be just the best route. You know, if there's any waiting at all or whatnot, even if there's like some weird cycles, I mean, it's whatever allows you to move the most.
Yeah.
You know, the tight corridor sections don't seem to be great. I don't remember seeing a level in which like they ended up being better.
It seems like teleports are just, while pretty powerful, I wouldn't call them completely overpowered. You do still need your other mechanics, but you lean heavily on teleportation. The more teleports you can reasonably put into your route, the better, it seems.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it seems like the other moves you need to chain with the teleport to get like those optimal angles and positions with, you know, so you can have good throws with the teleporter. It all comes into play.
Yeah. One kind of cool thing that I'm seeing too, that like I've seen on Summitstorm's screen a few times, is using the teleporter for some like almost saves, where like you throw the dagger as you're falling and you end up falling past a platform, but your dagger landed on top of it, so you're able to like get a pseudo ledge grab in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not like, you don't have to like do a wall jump to get over it.
Right. You just get to land back on top of the ledge.
Yeah, some nice mechanics. And this game is actually going to have over 100 levels when it comes out on September 30th. So I think we're going to see a lot of mechanics, just like you mentioned, like, you know, right on the corner, you're able to run on top of the ledge. A bunch of really cool, precise throws and mechanics that we haven't figured out yet because we've really just been going through a tournament. And with limited amount of levels. And once we get so many and then so much of the communities really test it out and see what's up with the game, I think this is going to be a really cool speed game.
Me too, and I'm really excited to see what the any percent run in particular is going to look like, but also 100%, because something that like we haven't really seen come into play at all in this competition is that timer mechanic, where there are these little like pods that you're having to collect throughout each level, and once you get 4 of them, that gives you an extra 5 seconds that you can put on your timer at any given time. And so in like the 100% category, I'm really curious, you know, how routing those pods is going to come into play for preserving as much time as you can throughout each stage and such. Like it's going to be a really interesting game that you can approach from a lot of angles, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I didn't even think about the 100% because there are like, they're like what, magical hot dogs or whatever they are, and then there's like those diamonds that we see on this level. But,
right.
Yeah, there's like that on every level, and yeah, so the 100%, that would be cool.
It'd be such a sick run, even on top of like what we're seeing here with any percent.
What happened?
Yeah. Oh, there's that fast fall. We haven't been seeing too much of. But yeah, but like things like that, like the fast fall, we might even see animation cancels for like when you land and you can just throw instantly or something. You know, who knows? Who knows what we're gonna see?
Yeah.
And the levels we're having, like these are like section 1 and section 2 levels, and you know they're pretty complicated as they are. So imagine like section 10 levels. You know what those are gonna be like.
Oh man. I'm just really looking forward to seeing how all the tech begins to evolve in this game, because like 2D speed games, there's just a surprising amount of evolution that they go through whenever they first come out. Especially like, I can't wait to see TASs of this game. TASs are just gonna abuse that dagger so hard.
Yeah. We need more TASs. Yeah. No, it's gonna be great. I'm very excited for it. I'm definitely getting this game as it comes out.
Yeah, I'm certainly going to be looking to pick it up too. Because it's a nice blend of like just the mechanics of like, you know, a really nice fluid platformer, but it's not, well, while there is like a lot of exploration within the level, you know, there's not like such a huge level with a bunch of pointless stuff that you're just going to easily get lost within. I find it's kind of hard to execute a good platforming game with a lot of exploration. You know, like your Metroid games and stuff are really good, but a bunch of those games just end up feeling pretty empty a lot of the time. But in this one, like you just get these nice bite-sized levels and a lot of really good platforming and a lot of experimentation.
Yeah, and point in case, look what Summitstorm's doing right here. This throw to that corner. He kind of like missed it right there, but he is able to throw it on the bottom part and then just like zip to the end. So even that optimization on the ending here that looked really clean. You know, those are going to be everywhere, so it's going to be great.
Oh man!
Whoa, Murtork! I guess he threw his teleport dagger up, and I thought it landed down. Looked like he just clipped through the wall.
We got Summitstorm just messing around with a few final attempts. Trying to see if he can push that time even lower.
Yeah, it's got to be nervous too for Summitstorm. Like, he doesn't know what Murtork is doing. He's like, this dude's got 3 minutes left, and yeah, he's 2 seconds behind, but maybe he just
hasn't what could he be plotting? You know, is he messing with some super secret route that he just needs one good attempt on to get a 5-second time, you know?
Yeah. And that's I think what Summit's been doing is really nice, because he got that really good time. He plotted out the route, got the really good time, and then he just explored and was like, okay, is there anything else that, you know, Murtork might be able to do? And I didn't catch that at first, but that kind of ended up being what happened. You know, he figured out that, yeah, this is actually the most optimal route, and I can't beat it by really anything.
That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah. He kind of ensured and like gave himself that peace of mind of like, I've looked and there isn't really anything else I can see, so there's probably not anything else my opponent could see either.
Yeah, so probably gave him some good peace of mind there. But yeah, when you talked about not knowing, that's kind of what he's been doing, right? Pretty cool. Cool stuff.
Let's see how these players decide to use the last couple minutes of their time frame here. Murtork just still kind of committing to that mid route, but not really achieving a ton of success with that mid-section movement.
What happened?
Alright. Almost there for Summitstorm.
Yeah, messing around with a few like backup sort of things on the ending. It's gonna be cool too to see like normal RTA races of this game. I know normal's not really the right term, but like just a true RTA race front to back, especially with the like whole like death resets the level mechanic. Because I'm sure there's going to be some later game stages that are going to be a bit long that will be extremely punishing on in a race setting.
Oh yeah, yeah, and like the speed runs of it, like I'm sure there'll be like section ones and then like bigger ones, and it's I think it's probably going to start out with like people not wanting to die, and slowly but surely incorporating harder and harder tactics that will are very easy to die all throughout the map to save time. So I think
definitely,
it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a really fun game to track the progression of as a speed game for sure. Just a reminder, !Aeon, A-E-O-N, for the link to the Steam page and such. Remember, it's going to be available for all major platforms, Xbox, Series X, PS5, Switch, and on Steam, of course.
Yes, sir. Yeah, make sure it's on your wish list. Steam's got to know.
Add it to your Switch wish list, despite the Switch store's wish list being very awkward to use. It just still gives me a small chuckle every time I think about that wish list never removes an item after you buy it. Like, why would you want the item on the wish list after you've already bought it?
Yeah.
Wrapping up this session here, approaching the last few seconds. Got one or two good attempts left for these runners.
Yeah, just a couple left. 10 seconds now. And yeah, I think we just got to give it to Summitstorm here. I mean, I think he really played it out well. I think this section, this 30-minute section right here, is a really well executed plan from start to finish. From when he was figuring out what he needed to do to after he executed that to try to find, better and more optimized movement. I think a lot of the other runners in the tournament could definitely like watch this and like take note as like, oh, my plans in the future should be something like this.
Yeah, and especially take note of how he evolved that route, just like how he kind of went into those bottom route attempts, how he kind of settled on the way that he was doing the saw blade movement. And watching too, just like at the very beginning, it didn't really look like he'd be able to make that saw blade cycle, but once that movement got tighter and more optimized, it became free for him almost. And so shout outs to both of our runners, and GG's to Summitstorm on this nice win with a sick time.
Yeah, absolutely. GG's to Summitstorm. And that's going to do it for us here at Speedrun GSA. Aeon Drive Tournament for beta as it launches September 30th. This is the last match of today. We will be back tomorrow. Let's see what time will we be back. Looking like 1 p.m. Eastern, which will be, what is that? 10 a.m. Western? I don't know. What's the time zone there?
Pacific, I believe.
Pacific, yes. Thank you. So be back there. We'll have more top 64 matches and 2 top 32 matches. And then on Thursday, we start the top 16 side of the bracket. So make sure that you don't miss any of it. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys. later.
Take care, everyone. Peace out.